Welcome back to our series on Preptember 2020. Today, we're going to be talking about how you actually contribute to open source software through GitHub.
What does it mean to contribute?
Becoming a contributor means giving some of your time and effort to improve a project in any way. You could be improving this project through writing code to fix bugs or create features. You may be providing your time and effort in refining some documentation, teaching other developers or other users how to use the project you're contributing to. Both of those ways are equally valid and both make you a contributor. So with that definition out of the way, on GitHub, the main way you make contributions to any open source project is through pull requests.
Wait, excuse me, what is a pull request?
A pull request is simply asking permission of the maintainers of the project to take your work and make it part of their project. And it's as simple as that.
Oh.
Think of these projects kind of like group work that you may have had in school. But the difference is that the team's already been assigned and you're showing up and asking to be a part of the team. So keeping that in mind, yes, open source contributions are a great way to show off what you know and how you can tackle problems. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you're helping a team build on all the hard work and study that they have already done, and you're helping them get to the next step. It's more important to take care of the team than to be the smartest person in the room. So, that out of the way, let's move on. Okay, we're ready to start finding repositories and begin writing code.
Yeah, about that. I don't know where to start.
That's okay. Here are some things that I do and that I encourage you to do to begin finding your short list of projects to work on. First of all, ask yourself these questions. What issues or technologies am I interested in? Are there any tools that I use regularly? Did I leave the oven on this morning? Are there any programs that I use on a day-to-day basis? Okay, now we've thought about what we're interested in and what we would like to have a repository to contribute to. Now it's time to take those topics that we had just made a list of and begin researching to see if there are any repositories that are working on those issues, working on those programs. So let's say, for instance, I'm interested in energy conservation. So I looked up, went to the mighty Google, said open source energy conservation. And here I can begin to see things that aren't necessarily on GitHub yet, but just begin to see some of these projects. And here are some that I found. I first found this Wired article about how the energy industry goes open source. And so reading through there, I began to find a couple links, looking out for those links there. And I'm always looking for what takes me back to GitHub, what actually takes me to the page to talk about that project. So I found this at first, which was the Open Smart Grid platform. And here, now I'm on GitHub from that link in that article. And I can just poke around in here and look at the README for some of the repositories they have here, which the README usually tell you like what this project is about and how you can learn more about getting involved. And so there, I found a project, and now I got to ask myself, okay, what languages does it work in? You can see this languages bar over here that will tell you what percentage of languages this is written in. So this is mostly in Java, and that's not a language that I work in mostly. So this might not be something that I would contribute to, but maybe you would. But moving on, I kept reading through this initial article and I learned about the LF Energy program, which is from the Linux Foundation. And so I followed that. It took me here. So just looking around here to learn more about what they're doing, looked at some of the videos to get a better idea, because honestly, the energy industry is super huge and that's not something I'm super familiar with. but I want to find some way that I can be a part of it. So I'm going to go up here, look at projects, and then I can learn some more about what exactly they're doing and how they see it all playing together. I can see individual projects, learned about a couple other things here like OpenE eMeter. An OpenE eMeter is on GitHub. This is something I'm still learning about, but it's supposedly a tool that's helping to create a standardized way for pricing alternative energy across great distances, as well as differences in time and weather and things like that. Let's say we're done looking at open source energy conservation. Maybe you found, okay, I want to work on the Open Smart Grid platform, or I want to work on Open eMeter. That's great. Let's keep making our short list though. So another thing that I'm particularly interested in is like video editing. So I'm going to say video editor open source. And immediately I'll start looking for things that list open source in their actual cards that show up here. I'm hoping that I would find a GitHub link. Sometimes it won't. So let's see, OpenShot looks like it's a open source. And here I'm just looking over. Not everyone says that they are open source and how to actually get involved on their web pages. So this is a good example of that type of project where they say they're open source, but you don't know how to get involved. They just say we're free and open source. So what I would do instead is I would go back to Google. I'm going to say OpenShot GitHub. And boom, now we can see OpenShot on GitHub right here. I'm going to click here, and we can then see, this is the same logo we noticed from earlier, that there are 3 repositories that they have available for contribution. And there you have it. Some basic questions to help you find your short list of projects. This has been only part 1 of a 2-part series to picking your first contribution project. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll dig in deeper into our short list to decide which projects may actually be worth our time. Until next time, I'm Turner Bass with Astro Panda Studios. Bye now.